Well, we're trying out the new system. Oh, I see a reflection back there. Let me go shut the back. Feel free to make a comment. We're just we are just testing a system. Um, Maybe I can raise it up a little bit right there. The only way I want to know if this is working. Oh, we got one viewer. American Outlaw. Okay, you might let me know. You can text me here, and is it digitizing? Is it breaking up? Is it decent for a signal? Is the picture all broken up? Seems okay right now. Okay. Well, I'm hoping you are making some progress on getting your bike all started up, American Outlaw. We we've been following you, but we've been busy for the last week setting up this system here, and it's been really it's been taking a lot of our time up that we'd be normally spending viewing people's videos and doing the right stuff. But unfortunately, this thing is really taking my time up. Oh, I guess you saw my last little video there. Come right into Alabama mountains. Recycle Hooligan is going to come over. Let me see. Uh, I'm seeing other people show up there. I should maybe I could probably put my glasses on. If it begins to go bad now, let me know. I guess I could turn a monitor on over here and see what it looks like on a monitor. I've got really good download speed. The upload is just marginal. But hey, I live out here in the woods, so Toga. Oh, I see Toga. Okay. I can put my glasses on, and oh, it's okay and it's excellent. And oh, I really appreciate you saying that because you don't know. I think I'm going to turn around here and I'll turn my monitor on so I can see. See, I'm using the cell phone here for the camera. It's one of those Samsung Ultima S23s or something like that. It's one of them Samsung Android phones. But let me see. I'll leave this thing running. I'll be right back over here. Well, yeah, I can see it can stand a lot of improvement. I can see that. It can stand a lot of improvement. Oh, yeah. I see that. I appreciate you guys doing this test with me. but at least I can see it look like it's still operating. Um, Toga, I don't know if you got to see my video. I was telling the American Outlaw. I was telling the American Outlaw that we're going to go to um, Recycle Hooligan and I are going to go at the end of the month for a ride up to Natural Bridge. It's a um, it's a natural landmark. It's a place. It's a bridge that's been standing for 275,000 years. I mean, back during the days when we was throwing rocks at one another, and we hadn't quite invented a wheel yet. That bridge was there, and we've had a couple of earthquakes. We had a couple of earthquakes. And hello, I think Flip Elliott is in here. So, um, oh, I tried. I remember Flip was he was a tin can sailor, and I know if he was a tin can sailor, he probably pulled into Civic Bay a time or two, and there's a possibility he might even did a longer pole. Yeah, I think he's already told me he never did eat the beluga or what's that thing, balut? Yeah, he never ate that. He never, he he never. Oh, 1978. Almost all of my children, all of the men folks, the guys, they've all been in the Philippines. They loved it. I mean, they really loved that whole thing. Yeah, we were in a fairly earthquake. It was 8 on the Richter scale. 8, I believe, is what they up in Seattle, Washington. I lived up there for 40 years, and I was in where they and the old factory where they built B-29. No, they didn't build it B-29. Yeah, B-17s, maybe some B-29s, but they built a lot of aircraft there. And that building, see, it's Plant 2, they call it, is on the Dewanamish Waterway. And that plant is built on 65 silt. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you was at Fort Lewis, Washington. I've got a lot of fond memories of Fort Lewis. I used to take a lot of soldiers fishing. The company used to pay me good money to take soldiers fishing during the Vietnam War. When they'd come home, they'd been in some severe combat situations, and they came back to Fort Lewis, and I had a 35-foot boat, and I would take them out into Puget Sound, and we'd fish for lingcod. And they would be 3 foot long, and sometimes you'd pull in 2 or 3 cod at a time. You would set 5 or 6 hooks to each line, and I think we was using herring at the time, plug cut, and we got so many fish. One time I took this general. He was a surgeon. He was stationed at McCord Air Force Base, which is next door, and he was down there, and he signed up. And usually I always got soldiers from Fort Lewis, but they asked me if I would make accommodations for this 3-star general. And so, yeah, oh, you was in the Turkish army. Oh my gosh, that's got to be next. One time I was going to go to Izmir, Turkey, and it just didn't happen. It didn't work out. What happened is they decided to send me to Kobe, Japan, but anyhow, Izmir is where they used to have in Izmir there, they had what they call a compound for the military civilians, that was coming over. Oh, you've probably been to the Casbah. That's I always wanted to go to the Casbah Well, I saw it in the movies, and I thought that would be an exciting place. Me, I'm kind of like an old rebel guy, that likes a lot of excitement in his life. And oh, your mom's side is, oh my gosh. Well, whole part of the world is steeped in history. I mean, all the history that has ever occurred at one time or another, as you know, one of the oldest villages in the world is right there in Turkey. And if you, and that site, if you look, you can actually see Mount Ararat over there, supposedly the place where the ark landed or whatever. I don't know. I mean, you live in a historical place to say the least. Well, let me get back to my three-star general story. I picked him up and we went across over to Maury Island. Maury Island is straight across the bay. And the governor of Washington State, she lived over there on that island, but it was pretty well protected. But we fished over there, and I didn't know, but a storm was brewing. Oh, let me tell you, the general, he said, "Where's the head on here on the boat?" I said, "This is a fishing boat, man. You don't have no head. You go over and lean over the side of the boat like all the rest of us do." And he said, "Well, I'll give it a try." Well, he went over and, oh, no, sorry. I'm just, me, I'm 84 years old. And if I get off track very long, I can't get back on the track unless you pat me on the back. You hit me on the back real hard and I'll get back on track. But anyhow, I explained you got to you got to go lean over the side of the boat, or you could pee in a can and pour it out if you want to. Well, he tried to go lean over the side of the boat, and the water was rocking because a storm was coming up, and he couldn't do it. And he said, "Could you take me to the shore? I got to put my feet on the ground so I can pee." So I drove him. I found a little sandbar, and I drove the boat up on the sandbar, and he hopped off, went over and did his thing. And he said, "Whoa, buddy, that was good." And when he got back in the boat, we had a hard time getting launched there because the waves were so heavy, it was pushing us up on shore. But we all finally got the boat turned around, and now I got to go across 4 miles of open water back to Browns Point and the place where I launched the boat. And it was storming. And so here I'm going out across there, and I hear this in a squall. It was raining really hard and blowing, probably 12-foot seas at this point. And I heard this brrr, brrr. From rain and the cloud came this 300-foot vessel. It was a cargo boat, 300 plus feet, over 100 meters long. And it was bearing down heavy, buddy. And I made a right-hand turn, and I outrun that thing. I had really strong engines in this thing. I had twin engines in my 35-foot boat, but I was able to outrun him and go around him. And finally, we got back to our place where we could get the boat out of the water. And that general, now he is not a combat general. He's in the Air Force, a surgeon. He was a open heart surgeon stationed there at McCord Air Force Base. He was so sick. He was laying in there. I had 2 bunks in there, and he was laying in there and rolling around in his own. Well, you know what C6 all about. And he, oh my God, when I got him to Browns Point, his wife and his family was there. They brought him down so he could get on the boat. And hey, 2x4, I guess it is. Glad to have you in here this afternoon. If you can see the video here, his wife was over there, and he didn't want to take any of the fish back. And there was a lot of people there on the pier. We caught, we had, not only did we have the 3-star general on board, but we also had other enlisted men from the fort there. And we got everybody off the boat and everything, and my gosh, that guy was so happy to get off the boat. But he thanked me over and over and over because he felt if I hadn't been driving the boat, he might have drowned it that day. My life is always on the ragged edge of adventure. And anyhow, well, let me tell you, another place in this world, I like Turkey, but another place I like, of course, is Nova Scotia. Now, there's a show I watch every day, Bad Chad. He's out of Nova Scotia, but he's right now in Australia. Him and his little queen, him and his queen is over in Australia, Queen Jolene, and doing a car show over there. I think they're going to head over to Europe once they leave down under. They're going to head back up to Finland or somewhere like that. Well, I'm sure you guys have got your generals have got a lot of power. We have so many generals there. Everybody's a general at something other, but yeah, he he was a professional. He was a surgeon, and I'm sure that's how he moved up through the ranks was with his ability to do what he did to save people's lives in the military. So anyhow, today is just is a test of my new system. I've told everybody so far, American Outlaw. Yeah, yeah. Too before I know you, you're in Nova Scotia. That's another place I really love. I got a friend that lives in Val-d'Or, Quebec. Him and I have been friends for 40 years. We've been on the ham radio. He operates out. He's still on the air every day. Him and I, we operated. I used to belong to a net out of Val-d'Or, Quebec, the Valley of Gold in Quebec. He would transmit every day, and he's 90, I think 92, 93 years of age. I had another friend that lived in Minnesota, and he lived to be 104 years of age, and he operated his radio within weeks of his death. They put a radio in a hospital. Right at last, he had to go into a hospital for like a rehab, but they linked him up through a link system onto his radio back at the farm. He had a 366-acre place out there in Minnesota. His name, we call him Minnesota Bob. K0VMT was his call. He's now gone. Yeah, yeah, American Outlaw. I've been following your building, your work. I'm hoping you get it done before the first snow falls or start to fall, because I remember this. I was Minot and Fargo, and yeah, Minot was a place where they sent us to punish us, but International Falls, that's up in North Dakota, and Minot. And I was stationed there in out of Malmstrom Air Force Base in Great Falls, Montana. I also I did a tour there in Lewistown, Montana. I had to stay over there. That's a really, really remote area. I stayed there. You have to do a year and a day when you go out on an assignment. And it wasn't easy to build the Americans' defense system. I lost wives because they couldn't handle the hardship of the husband being gone for a year, minus 30 below zero. It was so cold there in North Dakota. We had this basket that we could take men down into the deep hole. You ride the deep hole down 180 feet down, and the thing is, one time we loaded up 5 or 6 men up there in Minot, North Dakota. 6 men or so with their equipment crawled into the basket, and the Pettibone crane lowered them down. But they made it about 30 or 40 feet down, and the cable snapped, and they plunged to the bottom, killing 3 of them. And it was so cold, the cables literally snapped. And after that, they started running the thing up and down with weight in it to keep the cables limber where they wouldn't get cold and brittle and break. And well, Toga, I'm so happy that you was able to share some of your history. I've learned a lot about Nova Scotia from the television set. And of course, I learned about Turkey from history in school. And I did always love history. Two of my subjects was history, and I like science. I spent 40 years in aerospace. I, my apologies, 30 years officially in aerospace. And that's the people that put stuff on the moon and built all kinds of space flyaway items. Oh my God, the boiling water and freezing temperature. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I had my rig sitting out there, and I go in and just got water out of the tap, just plain old water. I had like maybe a quarter-inch of ice on my windshield. I threw that water on that windshield, and as you know, American Outlaw, what happens there? That windshield just it streaked all across and made like popcorn. It didn't fall inside the car safety glass, but oh my God, did it ever ruin that windshield? I couldn't even go to work that day. So I had to call the AAA people and have them to bring me out a windshield. And when I was over there in Lewistown, Montana, they gave me a year of 1979, and they gave me a brand new 79 Dodge. It had a V8 and all that stuff. Well, I had the Dodge plugged in what to call the GSA vehicle compound. They had a vehicle sitting out there. It was assigned to me, and it was plugged in, nice and warm. So I get into the truck and I drive it around to the dispatch area to get my paperwork to where I was going to be dispatched out. And when I got in there 20 or 30 minutes later, my truck is sitting out there idling. And it's 40 below zero in Lewistown. 40, that's 40 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. And so I go out there and hopped in my old truck, and it was nice and toasty inside there. And I went up on the main highway, and the heater core inside of that new Dodge blew up and blowed steam all inside of that truck. And immediately all the ice on the inside of the windshield, it froze over. Everything froze over. I rolled the window down, and I drove a mile back to the base in that Dodge with my face hanging out the window, and my nose burnt. The end of my nose would look like a crispy critter. That cold can burn you as bad as hot can. As people that live there well know, that cold can be bad on your skin. One time, one of the guys, his silo where he was stationed to pick him up. Well, I drove in, and he come running out and hopped in my toasty vehicle. And when he got out of the vehicle to go close the gate, you got to close the gate and latch it and all that stuff. He jumped out of there, and he had his coat unzipped, and his T-shirt didn't quite cover his belly. And he was out there for a few minutes because the lock was frozen, and he had to do a lot to get it where he could get the lock, where it would lock. And when we got up to a place called Harlowtown, Montana, we stopped in there to get, of course, we was driving a GSA vehicle, and we'd always stop in Harlowtown because we had a 140-mile ride up to Lewistown. Oh, hey, Name. Oh, well, Name, it's good seeing you. Even though I can't see you. Oh, I can see you're there. So, good afternoon. Um, anyhow, we went in to get us enough of beer. You know, it takes enough of beer to get you that distance back to Lewistown. And when he was walking back, I was already out of the car, and here he come walking back, and I could see his belly because he hadn't zipped his coat up yet, and there was a big red place across his belly. When he got in the truck, I told him, I said, take a look at your belly. And he pulled his shirt up. It burned his belly. The cold did. It burned a strip across his belly. And well, of course, we all had beer bellies back in the days because we drank a lot of beer. Bearskin, metal, sub-zero weather, you're going to have a bad day. That's absolutely right. Never stick your tongue to the flagpole, right? I'm hoping I'm still holding up here. I'm surprised that it's holding up as good as it is. Hold it long. This was just a test. I don't see any of the regulars because all the regulars are probably working. I know Motorbomb Virginia, he's probably over there doing some fantastic artwork. And also Recycle Hooligan, I know he's busy over there doing something. Ray Gregory, I know Ray Gregory, he's out somewhere riding. He can't see me or can't see my live because he's out there riding somewhere. All them working guys that rides all the time, they don't get to see some of the stuff, but they ain't missing out on much. I'm excited that this is working, so now I can have a mail call. I show you this is live. There's a hand. Let me see. How do you do them? That's the old Indian. That's the hello. I'm Kermit the Frog. Burr, burr. Hello, Name. Woo, I think I'll sing. You know, you can be just as crazy as you want to be. There's no limit. There's no rule says how crazy you can be. I mean, why not go for the gusto? Well, it's been enjoyable. We've been on here for 28 minutes. And, well, I think we'll call her. And, oh, man, I really like it that we had a chance to learn more about Toga, about, you know, the stuff that he's seen, he's done, and what he's doing, and what he knows about the Turkish history. It will. Yeah, I did a little video this morning, Name. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. If you see on my page there, Ride in the Mountains of Alabama. Oh my gosh. I love this family. There's a few of us people that like to get together and talk a little about, you know, just life in general. That's how we, riding on Ruby, right? All of them little heathens. He's got a busload of them little heathens out there. Now that right there is American hero. You know, anybody can haul them kids up and down the road and get them to school and get them back without losing his mind. um, I only say this because I had so many kids. I had at one time, I believe we had 6 kids at home at one time. As my older boys got older, they all went into the military. I had 5 of my kids that went into the military. Um, they all enjoyed it. 3 of them got full retirement. Well, one didn't get he got better than a full retirement. He got a medical retirement. He got his foot blown off, part of his leg there in Fallujah. That's the hell, and as you look around, you begin to see the living hell of the survivors. Those that was killed, God bless them, but the survivors carry a big load. 39 years hauling them little suckers. I I can just tell you, I'm only judging the kids that ride on your bus to my own kids. They were a handful, and my kids were all rowdy. Well, they all the time when they was born, they all had different racing kind of vehicles and motorcycles, and they were like me. They liked to jump, and my boys that lived over there in Oklahoma, they ride Harleys, and in fact, he got married. His bride was brought in on a Harley. She was on a tri-glide and coming sliding in. They've all got their own Harleys, his and her Harleys. But anyhow, riding on the Ruby. Hey, buddy, thank you very much for taking the time to come by and giving us a wave there. I'm waving back at you. The only way I know how, American flag waving at you. uh, you be careful. I know you got your afternoon traffic, taking the kids home. Yeah, it makes it a smaller world when you get on and you have a chance to talk with people. Well, the coverage we got today, well, we have. I like to get on at night. You ain't gonna believe us. Even though I'm 84 years old, I'm here at 2 o'clock in the morning because I like to get on a chat with David over there at Dave in Australia. I like to chat with Maria. She's a lovely lady that lives in Germany. That she has a night broadcast live, and she puts on a show, a little bit of karaoke, and she's pretty to look at. I'm gonna tell you, she's just a nice lady. And yeah, and there's 2 or 3 of them that is just delightful people that just know how to entertain and have fun. We could spend our lives, in anger and all kinds of stuff that's generated by not us as characters ourselves, but generated by TV and news and all that kind of stuff. And people do sometimes take on those characters, but I try to eliminate that in my life by finding people just like I'm looking at here on the screen, decent people that that love life and have given a lot to our country, have given a lot to the world. And we have people from around the world coming and joining in, and it makes the effort worthwhile because we are the world. And when people get out of the mindsets of these little cubicles we live in and call it my place, my space, this is mine, um, and forgetting about the needs of others, and oh, America, the world itself is a beautiful place. I've got the pleasure of being in the system that allowed me to see a lot of our country, and I've really enjoyed it. All right, let me this time for sure say goodbye, and I see some dropping out, riding on Ruby's gone, so I'm starting to wear thin on people's nerves out there. So we'll say uh, Ain't that the truth? And you know, when you're on here, you've got people, other people that wants to be on here. If you're on a bus or an airplane, there's a lot of people that don't want to be on the same airplane with you. Or if you're on a ship at sea, there's a lot of people that don't want to be on the same ship that you're on. You know, on here, people that come here are those that wants to be here and enjoy the companies of other bloggers, and we're no exception. We're kind of hook, line, and sinker. We're we spent a whole week trying to get just this speed we got right here. It ain't as good as I'd like to see it, but at least it's working where I can join in a little bit. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much for coming over on Ox Live video today, and we'll bid you a fair adieu. And thanks again. Bye bye.